Ever wondered how a nation can transform in just a few years? Well, buckle up as we dive into the fascinating metamorphosis of Saudi Arabia under the reign of Mohammed bin Salman. Let's rewind a bit. Imagine a Saudi Arabia prior to 2017. The country was known for its vast deserts, rich oil reserves, and a society deeply rooted in traditional Islamic values. This was a place where change seemed more like a mirage in the desert than a real possibility. It was a world steeped in customs, a land where time seemed to have paused. Then, in June 2017, a seismic shift occurred. A young prince named Mohammed bin Salman, often referred to as MBS, ascended to the position of crown prince. MBS was different. He was not just a prince, he was a man with a grand vision. His eyes were set not on the past, but on a future brimming with possibilities. Now let's get a bit closer to this charismatic prince. Born in 1985, MBS was not one to be bound by the shackles of the past. He was a millennial. And like millennials around the world, he was not afraid to challenge the status quo. He had a vision as vast as the deserts of Saudi Arabia, and as ambitious as the tallest skyscrapers dotting its skyline. MBS unveiled his ambitious plan, Vision 2030, a blueprint for the future of Saudi Arabia. It aimed at diversifying the economy, reducing the country's dependence on oil, and modernizing society. It was a roadmap that promised to propel Saudi Arabia into the future, to make it a hub of tourism and technology, and to moderate the strict Islamic ideology that had defined the country for so long. So, with a young prince at the helm and a vision to match, the stage was set for a dramatic reformation. But could MBS pull it off? Imagine being the captain of a ship and deciding to change its course. That's exactly what Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS as he's widely known, did with Saudi Arabia. Picture this, a nation steeped in tradition, suddenly on the brink of a new era. MBS, with a vision for a more progressive Saudi Arabia, took the helm and set about making waves. One of the first ripples was a move that sent shockwaves around the world. Women were granted the right to drive. This was more than just a policy change, it was a sign, a signal to the world that Saudi Arabia was evolving. But MBS didn't stop there. He saw the potential for Saudi Arabia to become a global tourist destination, rich in history and culture. So he opened the doors to the world, introducing tourist visas for the first time in the country's history. The deserts of Saudi Arabia, once secluded and remote, started to buzz with the chatter of tourists from around the globe. Alongside these social changes, MBS also ushered in a shift towards a more moderate Islamic ideology. The strict interpretations that once dominated were gradually replaced with a more balanced perspective. This was Saudi Arabia like never before, a country that was starting to blend tradition with modernity. Yet, MBS knew that for Saudi Arabia to truly modernize, it needed to embrace the technology of the future. So, he pushed for advancements in modern technology, turning Saudi Arabia into a hub for innovation. The country that was once known for its oil reserves was now making headlines for its technological strides. And just like that, MBS was steering Saudi Arabia into uncharted waters. But the journey was far from over. With a steady hand and a clear vision, MBS continues to navigate the winds of change, shaping a new narrative for Saudi Arabia in the global arena. The story is still unfolding, and the world watches with bated breath as Saudi Arabia sails towards a future full of promise and potential. Ever tried to balance a budget? Now imagine doing that for an entire country. That's the kind of challenge Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS as he's popularly known, faced when he took the reins of Saudi Arabia. And boy, did he rise to the occasion. First on his agenda was diversifying the economy. For decades, Saudi Arabia had been synonymous with oil. It was the lifeblood of the economy, the golden goose. But MBS saw the writing on the wall. He realized that hitching the country's fortunes to a single resource was akin to placing all your eggs in one basket. And that basket was getting shakier by the day. So he decided to spread the risk. He introduced Vision 2030, a bold, ambitious plan to wean Saudi Arabia off its oil dependency and transform it into a global investment powerhouse. This was a shift as seismic as the desert sands, and it required an equally monumental tool, the creation of the world's largest sovereign wealth fund. This wasn't just any fund, it was a mammoth financial machine designed to invest in a broad range of sectors, from real estate and tourism to entertainment and technology. Picture a giant financial octopus spreading its tentacles across the globe, pumping money into various industries, and you'll get the idea. But what did this mean for the Saudi economy? Well, it was like giving it a shot of adrenaline. The diversification spurred growth in sectors that had been previously overlooked. Jobs were created, businesses flourished, and the economy began to hum with a new energy. And the oil? It's still there, still important, but no longer the sole driver of the economy. Saudi Arabia has started its journey towards becoming a multi-dimensional economic powerhouse, a journey steered by the vision and determination of MBS. With these bold economic maneuvers, MBS was changing the financial face of Saudi Arabia. But what about the people? Change can be a bitter pill to swallow, especially when it's this drastic. So how did the people of Saudi Arabia react? Well, it's been a whirlwind to say the least. On one hand, the youth, the harbinger of tomorrow, have embraced this transformation with open arms. They're reveling in the newfound freedom, the modernization, the technology, and the tourism. On the other hand, not everyone's been as enthusiastic. There's been resistance, especially from the more conservative factions. They're grappling with the rapid pace of change, yearning for the familiarity of yesteryears. But hey, that's the thing about change, isn't it? It's never unanimous. It's a tug of war between the old and the new. And in the case of Saudi Arabia, under MBS, it's a spectacle that's captured the world's attention. So, there you have it. A nation transformed, an economy revitalized, and a population divided. One thing's for sure though, under MBS, Saudi Arabia has become a nation to watch.